Ron doing it with me. Can I just tell you what I experienced?
Yes, please do.
Okay. My body did sway backwards, and Ron is nodding.
Mine too. I felt like I was going to fall back.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
All
Excellent.
right, so that's
yes.
negative thought.
Okay.
Just like a plant moving away from negative sounds, the body will sway backwards away from negative thoughts and untrue thoughts and things like that. So let's move to something positive now. I'd like you to close your eyes again and just stand there relaxed and imagine for a moment that the person that you respect the most, the person that has been the kindest to you, someone in your life that you really feel gratitude for. Maybe it's a parent, maybe a sibling, maybe a friend. Think about that person who really did something for you. Maybe it was a teacher, someone that you really respect, someone that you really love. And what I want you to do is imagine that they're standing a few feet in front of you. Close your eyes, and I want you to just allow your heart to fill with gratitude for that person. Think of all the gratitude that you have in your heart and allow that gratitude to fill your heart. What might you say to that person, or how do you feel about that person? As that feeling of gratitude, that high vibration of gratitude fills your heart, you're going to find yourself on your tiptoes, because the subconscious mind wants to move you towards that kind of vibration, that kind of feeling. That feeling of gratitude is such a high vibration, much higher, totally on a different scale than that word war. So this test, and by the way, let's just check in with Dr. Duffy and her producer.
I am amazed, and Ron is also smiling and nodding his head. Yes, I am amazed, and and I went so far forward, and then you said your toes. Yes, and I am just trying to fathom, was it the power of suggestion? I mean, did my body just automatically do that? I didn't tell it to sway backwards or to sway forwards. I'm amazed, Dr. Brad.
Sure.
Wow.
Well, that's your see. We've had these bodies all these thousands of years, but we're just really learning about how they work and who we really are, because they didn't come with any kind of a manual. But what we can do is we can use this ability to ask the subconscious mind questions. For example, you can form a thought in your mind, pose a question. You can ask, as you're standing there, totally relaxed, eyes closed, let's try this. Pose this question: do I have a trapped emotion? Do I have a trapped emotion?
Do you want Ron and me to stand again? We will.
Sure.
Okay, good. We're up. We're up.
Okay. All right. So close your eyes, drop your hands to your sides, just totally relax, and just make this statement: I have a trapped emotion that needs to be released. I have a trapped emotion that needs to be released. Just think about that.
Does it matter if you say it out loud or to yourself?
You can just think it clearly, but you want to focus on it and not get distracted by other things. So just focus on that statement for a moment.
Yes.
I have a trapped emotion that needs to be released. And if you can focus on that thought clearly and intently, within 5 or 10 seconds, if you do have a trapped emotion that needs to be released, your body will sway forward, and that's a yes answer. That's your subconscious mind. That's this incredibly powerful computer, the most powerful computer in the known universe, that we each have within us, telling you, yes, I have some emotional baggage that needs to be released. So this is one of the methods that we use. There are a number of other methods that we use that take a little bit more practice. This one most people can do instantly. And so what we do is we have this little process that we follow. If you go online, for example, you can go to Google, you can type in emotion code chart, and if you're looking at Google Images, you'll see lots and lots and lots of charts. This chart basically is a chart of 60 emotions. the 60 most common emotions that we feel. It's divided into 2 columns and 6 rows. And so what we do when we're working with someone is we simply ask the subconscious mind, do you have a trapped emotion? If the answer is yes, we go to the chart and we ask, is it in column A or column B? And one of those will be strong, or the body will sway forward for yes for one of those. So then at that point, we'll break it down further and ask, okay, well, if it's in column B, is it in one of the odd rows in column B? Row 1 or 3 or 5? If that's no, we know it's in row 2, 4, or 6. So we're just, every time we ask a question, we're dividing the list by half, and it doesn't take long until we break it down to the very last emotion. And then we can ask questions about that emotion, when that occurred, and so on. Now, some fascinating things about these emotions. Sometimes, you see, because the subconscious mind remembers every moment of your life, sometimes we find things that are surprising. For example, I worked on a woman on a radio show the other day who had some kind of problem, some kind of pain, I think it was, that, yes, it was her neck. And she'd had neck problems for a long, long time. And what I found was she had a trapped emotion. I believe it was resentment. And she picked it up during the time that she was in the womb. And we tested.
Wow.
With the first trimester, the answer was no. Did it happen in the second trimester? No. In the third trimester, that was a yes. Something that her mother went through. Her mother experienced some very powerful emotion of resentment in that third trimester. And that emotional energy, that vibrational energy, became trapped on a quantum level in that baby. And now that baby, when I worked on her, I think she's 38 years old, and her neck pain went from, I believe it was a 7, and it went to a 0 instantly. And that was at a distance, because you see, one of the beautiful things about this work is that it works also at a distance. You don't actually have to even be there. And this is true. It's truly what we might call quantum healing, but it's very practical. It's very, very simple. And it's so easy that anyone can do it. In fact, I have to tell you a story. We have a website called Emotion Code Gift, where you can get the emotion code for free, and the emotion code book on audio. At least right now, it's the whole thing for free. Soon it will just be, I think, the first 3 chapters or something. But anyway, she went there, got the book, started reading it, started listening to it. Her son started reading and listening to it, and he started practicing with some of his friends. And she didn't pay much attention. But a couple of weeks later, the phone rang. And the woman on the other end of the phone line identified herself as the mother of one of this woman's son's friends. And she said, listen, something's happened. She said, your son's been doing this emotional thing. I haven't paid much attention, but she said, I have to tell you something. She said, my son has had a severe phobia of water all of his life. And we've taken him to lots of different people. We've tried lots of different things. Nothing has ever worked. It's been very disruptive for our life and for his life. And we figured he was going to have this forever. She said, right now, I am at the community pool. She said, my son is playing in the water with the other boys for the very first time in his life. She said, your son did this to him. She said, I can't wrap my mind around how this is even possible. I can't believe this. It's so surreal. She said, what is he doing? And those 2 boys were only 11 years old. Think about that. That's how easy this is, and yet how earth-shattering and how powerful the changes can be. Because what we find is that, you see, in the last 28 years, working with people all over the world, what we have found is that every disease process has emotional components to it. Every case of cancer that we've seen, every disease process has emotional baggage as part of that process, and sometimes the biggest part of that disease. Sometimes it's the only underlying factor for some things. Every case of depression and anxiety, and every case of phobias, panic attacks, PTSD, eating disorders, self-sabotage, they all have emotional baggage as an underlying cause. And the beauty of the emotion code is that it really is giving back to people the ability to help themselves in a huge way. So that's the emotion code, sort of in a nutshell. It's very simple to do, very easy, and yet it's amazingly powerful.
Yes, and I cannot believe that our show is almost over. And I want everyone to know that this is Dr. Duffy Spencer. We are Just Relationships, WHPC 90.3. And just to let you know that Dr. Bradley Nelson is the author of The Emotion Code, How to Release Your Trapped Emotions for Abundant Health, Love, and Happiness. And where is this available, Dr. Brad?
Well,
I guess all over.
Yes, it's available all over and at bookstores.
Yes.
We have a special going right now. If you go to healerslibrary.com, that's our website, healerslibrary.com. We have a special going for the month of June because it's the 10th anniversary of the Emotion Code.
Okay, so it's healerslibrary.com, and you have in your book the Emotion Code chart and the Emotion Code heart wall flow chart. So I want people to be able to purchase your book so they can have this at their fingertips, and it also illustrates the sway test. And I want also everyone to know that we are lucky because Dr. Bradley Nelson is coming back next week, and we are going to have part 2 of The Emotion Code by Dr. Bradley Nelson. So if you have any thoughts about what you want to learn, just imagine your questions. And Dr. Brad, what would you like to address very quickly for the next week's show?
Oh, I think next week we need to talk about the heart wall.
Oh, good. The heart wall. All right, I started the show asking you if your heart is broken or has ever been broken. Well, it may still be broken. So for now, I will thank you, Dr. Bradley Nelson. And this is Dr. Duffy Spencer saying goodbye for now and wishing you great relationships.